So the goal of this rotation is really to simplify. It's also to make managing force a lot easier. You're going to find that this build performs very comparably to some of the other more complicated builds. But with this, you can manage a 100% uptime onto suppression stacks while also never having to use Saber Strike.
So for gearing, it's very straightforward. You want to hit 3 pieces, 344, 4 augs for accuracy, alacrity, 3, 3, 4, 4 pieces, and you're going to get 2 augs. After that, you're pumping everything into crit. These stats you see here are not maxed on crit. Now we have the opener. So you want to get Squelch on cooldown right away because you're going to reproc that with your Force Strike. Now let's talk about the foundation of this rotation, which would be your 2 dots, Sever Force and Force Breach. The bulk of your DPS is going to happen through these 2 abilities. So make sure they're on the target at all times. Make sure to have 100% uptime. Another key benefit is that when the dots are on targets, they crit. Crits reduce your force potency cooldown, which you'll be using to increase your DPS.
I'll also say here, try your best to not clip your dots. It's always better to get the full damage and duration out of the dot to make sure it justified the GCD.
Now, force suppression stacks. This is one of the main reasons you took Balancing Field. It was to ensure that you could do more force imbalances and have that 100% uptime that's going to increase your DPS. And you're aiming for 100%. If you can't, just keep it up as much as you can. Another reason we took Balancing Field was this interaction we have with force potency. So every time you pop force potency, you also will get another charge of force and balance. And this will really help you to keep those suppression stacks up at all times. It also has great viability for AoE damage when you're really wanting to pump some numbers, kill a group of ads very quickly. Every time you kill an ad, you'll get a charge of force potency. And at that point, you'll be basically able to do this until you run out of force. Now let's talk a little bit about that third dot, Squelch. So it's interesting, right? It hits over a very short period of time. You get a strong initial hit, and then it does damage over 6 seconds. So you do not want to clip this. It will result in a DPS loss. The other thing is that you have that Force Strike internal countdown, right? So every 9 seconds, you can proc a Squelch. So you don't need to use Squelch immediately. You just need to make sure you use it before it would have been reprocced by Force Strike. Now for the filler aspects of this rotation. So you want to keep Spinning Strike and Serenity Strike on cooldown as much as possible. Spinning Strike takes a little bit higher priority because it can be reprocced, and you can do Spinning Strikes back to back. So to recap, keep your dots on the target at all times, keep your suppression stacks on the target, keep all your hard-hitting abilities on cooldown, spam Double Strike when everything else is done.